If we're talking about XRP, a lot of interesting things have happened over the past week or so. And one example is of the announcement that was made right here. 𝗲𝗂𝗪𝗓 said there was an issue with properly reading the Ripple node response, resulting in a few wrong posts. We fixed the issue. And if you've been looking on Twitter over the past couple of days, you would have probably seen this transaction. 𝗕𝗫𝗀 and Borovic here shared it. One wallet just moved half of the circulating supply of XRP, about $15 billion worth, to Bitfinex. And now, a little bit afterwards, he said, well, it was an attempt. The transaction didn't actually go through. It was a failed transaction as the sender, didn't have enough XRP in their account to facilitate this. And later on, everybody noticed that 𝗲𝗂𝗪 just goofed up a little bit, but it by far was one of the most interesting things that happened to XRP in a little while. If it wasn't for this one thing that was just announced that broke everything. But in this video, I actually have a couple of interesting things to discuss. So before I move on, make sure if you've not done it yet, that you go ahead and press that like button. And the lights, I'll set them up better in about a day or so. Today we're going with like a blue, purple. What would this color be? I don't know. To get back to it, I'd say that this week has been so crazy, mostly because BlackRock said that XRP ETFs are something. Well, rather, I think it was Fidelity or something like that, one of the co-founders, or at least one of the heads of it right now, maybe chief investment officer, I can't remember exactly who it was, that said that XRP and ETH ETFs are really viable. Now, from the Ethereum forefront, we already know that they're actually being talked about, that they're being worked on. And I published a video on XRP talking about the prospect of XRP ETFs. Today, I actually have a different side I want to quickly talk about. And that mostly has to do with perhaps why BlackRock couldn't answer the question as to whether or not XRP ETFs were in their pipeline. And I mean, even on their homepage right now, they are promoting this Bitcoin ETF. So they are definitely bullish on the idea of facilitating trade in this asset and looking at all the numbers as to just how much Bitcoin they've been acquiring. This is their game, all right? They've been commenting on just how scarce it is in comparison to something like gold. They're acquiring. We all know it. Now, so why can they speak on Ethereum and can't they speak on XRP? And then it shot back into my head. Something a lot of people are not realizing is that even though the XRP case is over because XRP is not a security, just like, even though they are getting resolved, there's a lot of issues right now with regards to Merrill Lynch and Vanguard, which I'll discuss in a different video. It is just a new thing to people, right? Merrill Lynch and Vanguard were basically blocking Bitcoin ETFs all the way. But right now, Vanguard Group and Merrill Lynch senior account managers are now apologizing to clients for their firm's lack of vision on crypto exposure. So they're basically crawling back. And again, I'll talk about that more in depth later. But this whole video kind of popped up because of two things. One, Samantha Leduc, she was talking about how Bitcoin could be split up into Satoshi. And because there's a ton of those, all of a sudden Bitcoin is not scarce. Which made me think many people are just misunderstanding this, combined with Vanguard and Merrill Lynch's misunderstanding of Bitcoin / the ETFs. But the second part being Jeremy Hogan, where he just said the SEC v. Coinbase big motion to dismiss hearing is Wednesday morning. Metal on Man will be there live. Motions to dismiss are rarely granted, so I wasn't expecting much. However, I just looked at a prior order on a motion to dismiss from the same judge on a crypto case, and this might be closer than I originally thought. Back in August of 2023, the Coinbase judge dismissed a lawsuit against Uniswap for sale of scam tokens. Admittedly, the decentralized nature of the exchange played a large role, which is why we don't have in the Coinbase case. But there are a couple important things. The judge stated in her order that Coinbase have got to like. First, she calls Ether a crypto commodity. Could that just be lazy writing? Possibly. But the judge was very aware of the difference between a security and commodity, so I doubt it. Second, the judge states that Congress and the courts haven't made a determination whether crypto tokens are securities or commodities. This plays well with Coinbase's argument that the SEC is overstepping its enforcement authority and that Congress must be involved first. And that's where I can already draw the line here and say, I honestly think one of the biggest things keeping XRP back, besides just the sentiment for altcoins being weird right now, I mean, we right now are still quite Bitcoin centric, that is flipping to ETH. And as I stated in the previous video, we go from Bitcoin to big altcoins to smaller altcoins as the run progresses, with some outliers here and there that you just might catch or might not catch. And I also stated before, you could buy XRP today and literally double your money tomorrow, but it could also not happen because that's the crypto market. Sometimes there's nothing, even the founders sometimes don't know exactly what's pumping their coin. I had a funny story about that with a crypto founder today, where I thought, hey, people that have insider information, and you are telling me about some very negative news, basically. Why is the price going up a lot? And maybe he knew, but he wasn't telling me. It's possible. But he explained that it was kind of as a surprise because even they expected the price to come down. It's one of the most trendy tokens in the crypto space right now. You'll know it, but I can't say which one it is. Well, I could, but I won't, out of respect. But again, that also made me realize another few things, one of which being that in this crypto space, a lot of things are not necessarily explainable just quite yet. When I look at the comment section, people are talking about this coin, that coin, this coin, that coin. I really want to bet that most of you guys don't fully know the dynamics behind what pumps a coin, how exactly it works, because in theory, retail sentiment is quite important, but in the reality of things, it doesn't move the markets as much as you might expect, dependent on the narrative, dependent on so many different variables. But the point there being, it could be one small change, one insertion of money from a certain set of companies, a certain set of people to change everything, which I talked about when we talked about why I think the XRP price was capped at $1 when the lawsuit ended for price stability over a little while. You might even argue that they want to keep the price more stable for clients to have an easier entry. You might want to say they're trying to keep the price low for XRP ETFs and whatnot to be bought in at cheap prices. But how do I relate what I saw right here back to my story? Is that the Ripple case is still actually ongoing. A lot of people fail to realize that the Ripple case is not over. XRP has been cleared. But as we have just read from, the one before this, with the post from Vanguard, etc., even Vanguard, Fidelity, not so much, Vanguard and Merrill Lynch, let's call those two, we're still confused as to the nature of Bitcoin spot ETFs. Even Bitcoin was quite clearly already fine, and the Bitcoin spot ETFs were promoted and pushed and whatnot by guys like BlackRock, and even then, those guys were still hesitant, thinking, ooh, maybe not. And it made me realize, since the Ripple case is still ongoing, doesn't it make sense for some of these guys to still be a bit hesitant? But I think that might change the moment that this lawsuit is fully finished and Ripple pays their fine or it's thrown out. But particularly the Coinbase case as well, as more clarity comes in for crypto, things like XRP, which have gotten through this entire process already, could get another additional boost. Again, I'm not trying to say, hey, go buy a ton of XRP. I'm just giving an explanation as to some of the things I see going on in the background that I think you guys might find interesting. Jeremy said also, based on this, judge's prior dismissal of the Uniswap case, her clear understanding of the tech, her finding that ETH is a commodity, and acknowledgement that Congress should be involved in the process, it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. And a note to that is that it's interesting how ETH is just claimed as a commodity, even though it never went through the same process, which I guess is quite unfair to the whole XRP situation. Yet I will add again that right now, as we're getting into a bull market, a lot of coins which are proper have not popped off yet because, well, we're not in those retail crazy hype moments yet. Again, the moment you see your bus driver say that he hey, I just bought this crazy crypto token, it's called Dog, I eat my mom for dinner, orange coin, whatever. At that point, you got to get a little bit scared, but that's also the point where things all across the board just go absolutely haywire. XRP and Bitcoins are a little phase before that already, but we're not even there just quite yet. The Bitcoin halving's not here. The deadline for ETH spot ETFs is not even close. And again, if you had to put up odds, there's a very high probability that right after ETH, which again, 4 months of a deadline, right? right after ETH, the next big thing all these institutions are going to be looking for is how can we get as many crypto ETFs as possible? Because, well, we just had wrecking breaker numbers on the Bitcoin one. The Ethereum one could do well, but let's just say it does okay, but pretty well. What's the next one we can go for? And again, if XRP is the one that's really properly cleared and the Coinbase case is not fully over, or at that point it's resolved and at least nothing negative for cryptos come out, that could be pretty juicy for XRP, right? Anyway, that's something that's been bothering me or kind of stuck in my head. This narrative of why exactly is the price not going too crazy? And I think I can't blame it on Ripple's progress or the XRP ledger building of sorts, because they've been going pretty fast. I will add that Ripple's marketing jets are not as on as they sometimes are, because the crazy partnerships, these crazy lists, they're not as severe as they used to be a while back. But once more, like I said, when I speak to major game founders and whatnot, a lot of these guys are not letting go announcements until they really know it can make a difference. To elaborate on that, a lot of people know that right now the bull market's back, right? But it will take another few months to really get into that excitement phase. Why spend all your marketing power right now in a okay bull market where you can also double down on a really bull market where everything just keeps on going, especially as maybe some of these bigger guys knew exactly what the dynamics for Bitcoin were going to look like. And so they're also weighing off their pros and cons to just pushing things better in a few months from now when the entire market is even more bullish. I'm just speculating on these parts, but in a lot of ways, at least to me, it does make sense to still believe that probably the price is being suppressed to some extent right now. Probably Ripple has not turned the marketing jets on as much as they will soon enough. And that I, again, from the bottom of my heart, do believe that this coin will still do very well, because after the lawsuit ended, XRP didn't see a bull market yet. And I think there's so much power in community and on the sidelines of people to push it. The problem now being that there's not as many new people that are trying to get into XRP because of any excitement, right? You might say, well, but the lawsuit should have brought excitement. Yeah, but that was in the past when the market was really not in the best of spots. And again, as I said, I think that might have kept things down, which might have not been the best decision. But right now, if you see it from a new investor's perspective, why would they buy XRP right now? Yield, well, they're working on it, but it's not fully there. In the sense of all these other cryptos, right? Staking, no. What exactly? Well, the partnerships in the future is going to be crazy. Yeah, but it's not here. They have crazy partnerships, I know. But for somebody to find that out takes a bit of time. And that's what I think is happening to a lot of these beautiful layer ones, a lot of these beautiful projects that are really built up proper, but don't gain the proper hype. A good one is Chainlink. I've talked about it many times, how I think that project, from a value perspective, is just crazy. But if you look at the amount of hype, it's very low. It's because it's not that type of project right now. Perhaps though, as the market progresses, they're going to go for some interesting marketing strategies to really ramp up the sentiment within the retail between you and I and whatnot. But right now it's not there. With XRP, why would somebody new go ahead and pick this crypto? Yeah, just because it's in the top list. Okay. Because it can do crazy returns. Okay, why? And then you start thinking, yeah, the ETF could be huge. Ripple's progress, XRP Ledger's integrations, or I guess partnerships coming on, all that could be huge. But where's the hype right now? So that's why I think, and that's where I end this video off, that the moment XRP crosses $1, there's going to be massive waves of FOMO, massive waves of excitement. But I think the market needs to set itself up for the price to get there first. And once that happens, though, I do believe XRP, like usual, is going to have a little late blooming, but a very massive over delivery as to what we expect. Depending, of course, on who you are. If you think XRP will go to $50,000 in the next few weeks, we're not on the same page, but for all the true holders who've been here for a while, yeah, I personally just want to see the price do pretty well the way it deserves it to go. I'm not hoping for no miracle or anything like that, because again, at the end of the day, this crypto stuff is all so new that you can't guarantee for things to go the way you right now are planning it to, right? In 5 years, the entire crypto space could be severely different, and it probably will be. To that extent, I keep thinking this might be the time. But at the end of the day, we do so many things on this channel to make sure that even if you only hold one crypto, ooh, the thing almost fell. Even if you're just holding one crypto, you're setting yourself up for success over the longer time. If you're only holding one, you got to have proper DCA strategies in place, in my opinion. I just released a video on what would happen if you bought $5 worth of crypto every single day for the last year. You might want to check that out as well. And the last thing I'll say is, the moment I sell my XRP, I'll let you know. I've not sold any XRP, perhaps ever, and I've never gotten a single XRP ever from Ripple. Just want you guys to know that. We've just been here hodling because the value proposition looked pretty good. I've not bought as much XRP as I usually do because, again, I have two ways of investing. One is value, looking for the best product at the right time, a really undervalued gem. And one is whatever's hyped up right now, I go for it. I think right now in this market, a lot of people are just looking for the things that are doing well because the market's pumping a lot. They're not looking as much for undervalued stuff, which they were more in a bear market, but hey, XRP was kind of in a screwed up position back then. But the next few months could be very interesting. I've not sold, I'm keeping on. And perhaps as the severity, the intensity starts to ramp up, I could even add a significant more to my holdings. It could be. But I'm waiting, and I think if I'm doing that, a ton of people are doing that for the next wave of excitement, for the next thing. And to some extent, I could say, well, so if I'm waiting for that, and a lot of people are, I should buy right now in anticipation of this thing happening. And the moment it happens, I should sell. So, buy the rumor, sell the news. But I'm also thinking about it like this. I've already got good chunky bags. Let's wait for some excitement to come back. And in the meantime, go for whatever is most hot with new money, basically. So not selling my XP, but using new money to buy things which are hotter and more in hype until something changes. Again, you might hate me for making this video. You might think, Dusty, only talk positively. At the end of the day, I'm not here to please anybody in the form of I just talk about what you want to hear. I talk exactly about what I think will make the most amount of money and what makes sense to me. So if you don't like me to keep it real, you just want me to shout at you with some prices that will most likely not happen, sorry, ain't me. But yeah, that's about it.